before the story begins. If you enjoy sci-fi and HFY stories, please subscribe to the channel so you never miss a new episode. Rian Holt moved slowly through the silent hallway of Red Line 4, his boots echoing on the metal floor. The mining station was old, tired, and shaking again from the last meteor hit. He carried his repair kit on his back, sighing as he looked at the cracked airlock display. It was supposed to be a simple shift. Check the damage, fix the loose panels, and go home. But nothing was simple on Red Line 4. Rian tapped the console. Sparks jumped out, and the screen turned black. Great, just great, he muttered. He opened the small toolbox when he suddenly heard it. A faint sound, a voice, somewhere behind the sealed maintenance door on his left. At first he thought it was just the wind inside the vents. But the sound came again, softer this time. A whisper. Somebody there. Rian called out. No answer. He stepped closer. The door was half crushed by fallen pipes, and red warning lights blinked slowly around it. Rian pressed his ear to the metal, his heart beating a little faster. Then he heard it, clearly this time. A woman's voice. Weak, trembling. Help, please. Rian's muscles tightened. There shouldn't be anyone in that room. It was marked abandoned 3 years ago after the last explosion. He touched the control panel, but it was dead. He pushed the door, but it didn't move even an inch. He looked around, grabbed a long pipe, and used it like a lever. Metal groaned. The door creaked open. Dust fell down from the ceiling. And inside, Rian froze. There, lying on the floor under 2 heavy pipes, was a woman, but not human. Her skin glowed faintly blue. Her hair was silver like moonlight. Her eyes, half open, shined like small stars flickering in the dark. She looked at him, fear mixing with belief, like she had been waiting forever for someone to come. Rian dropped the pipe and rushed in. Hey, don't worry, I got you. The woman tried to speak, but her voice cracked. Her body shook with pain as she reached out and caught his sleeve. Her lips moved. Then she whispered the strangest, most shocking words Rian had ever heard. Take off your pants. I'll pay my debt. Rian's mouth fell open. What? She breathed fast, confused, as if she didn't understand why he reacted like that. She tried to repeat something, but her voice failed. Rian shook his head quickly. Wait, just don't talk. You're hurt. Let me get these off you. He pushed the pipes aside with all his strength. The metal scraped loudly, and the woman winced in pain. When she was free, Rian checked her legs. A deep cut glowed like hot metal, but no blood spilled, only tiny points of light, like glitter in water, drifting out. He had never seen anything like it. Easy, easy. I won't hurt you, he said softly. She blinked slowly. Oh, human. Yes, and I'm going to get you out of here. But before he could lift her, the station shook so violently that Rian almost fell on top of her. The lights flickered, then turned red as alarms screamed throughout the hallway. A robotic voice echoed. Warning, unknown vessel docking, possible hostile boarding. Rian's stomach turned cold. Pirates? Raiders? This station had nothing but broken metal and cheap ore. Why would anyone attack now? He looked down at the alien woman. Her eyes widened in terror, her breath fast and shallow. No, she whispered. They found me. They found me. Who? Rian asked. She grabbed his wrist with surprising strength, pulling him closer. Please, listen. You must not let them take me back. Rian felt the weight of her fear. Whoever was coming, they weren't coming for the station. They were coming for her. Footsteps echoed in the distant hallway. Heavy, coordinated, not human boots. Rian swallowed. Okay, I'm taking you out of here. He slid his arms under her and lifted her carefully. She was light, far too light for someone her size, as if she were made of mist and moonlight. She shivered against his chest as the station lights dimmed again. Footsteps grew louder, closer, faster. Rian hurried through the narrow maintenance tunnels, breathing hard. The woman pressed her forehead against his shoulder, whispering something in her strange, soft language. He wished he could understand. He turned a corner, then stopped. The path was blocked by fallen beams. No way around. Behind him, deep voices growled in an alien tongue. Weapons hummed as they powered up. Rian's heart pounded in his ears. The woman looked up at him with those glowing, terrified eyes. "If they catch me," she whispered, "they will kill you too." Rian stayed at the block path, then at her, then at the shadows moving toward them. He took a slow breath. "Not today," he muttered. The voices behind him grew louder, footsteps closing in, weapons charging. Rian held her tighter and searched for any way out, any hope, because he had seconds left before the hunters reached them, and the fate of the alien woman and himself hung by a single moment. Rian stared at the blocked path, his breath shaking, his hands tight around the alien woman's weightless body. The fallen beams created a wall of metal and dust. No opening, no gap, no escape. Behind him, the heavy steps grew louder, closer, slow, confident, like predators who already knew their prey could not run. Rian's eyes jumped around the narrow tunnel. Think, there has to be something. The woman in his arms trembled. Her glowing eyes dimmed, flickering like a candle in the wind. She whispered weakly, "They are almost here." Rian swallowed hard. "Yeah, I noticed." He set her down gently and pressed his hands against the fallen beams. He pushed. The beams did not move even a little. It was like trying to push a moon. He looked back. A long shadow stretched across the metal floor. Then another, and another. Rian felt the pressure in his chest tighten. The alien woman, still shaking, looked up at him. "You can leave me and save yourself." Rian turned sharply. "Not happening. You do not understand," she whispered. "They hunt my kind. They will not stop. They will tear you apart just for touching me." "I don't care," Rian said. "I'm not leaving you." Her eyes widened again. Something unreadable flashed inside them. Surprise, maybe hope, maybe fear. Rian crouched, scanning the floor. His fingers brushed against dust, loose wires, shattered glass, and then a small, rusted panel. He yanked it open. Inside, a narrow maintenance chute dropped straight down into darkness. "Oh, that looks very unsafe," he muttered. The woman watched, her breathing slow and painful. "Where does it lead?" "No idea, but it's either this or the guys with guns." From the tunnel behind them came a low growl, a clicking sound, the sound of alien armor adjusting, weapons powering. Rian's mind screamed, "Now, now, now!" He grabbed the woman again, holding her tight. "Hold on." He swung his legs into the chute and slid down, the metal walls scraping his boots, gravity pulling them deeper. The woman clung to his shirt, her glowing fingers shaking. Above them, a voice roared, "Find the Lumari!" And blasts of green plasma hit the chute opening. But Rian had already dropped out of sight. They slid and slid, faster and faster, until, Rian crashed through a lower panel and slammed onto a dusty floor. The woman rolled out of his arms, gasping for breath. His side burned from the impact, but he forced himself up. The room they landed in was pitch black. Only the dim glow of the woman's skin lit the walls in soft blue. Rian coughed. "Okay, that was something." The woman tried to speak, but instead she groaned in pain, curling slightly. Rian crawled to her. "Are you okay?" "My energy, low," she whispered. "The fall did not hurt me, but I cannot keep my light steady." Her glow flickered again. For a moment, the room went near black. Rian's heart clenched. Hey, don't give up on me now." She reached out weakly. "I trust you, human." Rian froze for a second, then nodded. "Good, because I'm not done yet." He helped her sit up and scan the room. Old machines lay in pieces. Pipes leaked steam. The air smelled of rust and old oil. Then something on the far wall caught his eye. A broken emergency lamp. And under it, a strange metal box with a cracked display. He moved closer and cleaned the dust. The screen flickered. "System, emergency tunnel network. Manual override available." Rian whispered, "This might save us." But before he could touch the controls, a loud crash echoed above them. Metal bent. Panels shook. Dust rained from the ceiling. The Draken hunters had found the chute. Rian's blood turned cold. The woman grabbed his wrist with weak fingers. They are coming. They smell my light. Rian pressed the override. The entire wall shook, then slowly slid open, revealing another narrow tunnel. Dark, long unknown. He didn't think. He simply lifted the woman again. Let's go. But she shook her head, barely able to speak. No, you should know. This tunnel is old, dangerous. There may be traps, unstable floors, collapsing. A deep voice boomed from above. Lumari, we see your light. Rian flinched. We're going. He stepped into the tunnel as the wall closed behind him. The woman whispered something in her own language, soft, melodic, sad. What was that? Rian asked. A goodbye, she answered. Rian nearly tripped. Hey, don't say it like that. We're getting out of here. You do not understand, she breathed. My kind, we were made to shine. But the shine fades when we are hunted. I cannot stay bright much longer. Rian tightened his hold. Then I'll shine for you. Just stay alive. Her glowing eyes softened, almost like she wanted to believe him. The tunnel stretched endlessly. Dust filled the air. Strange metal insects crawled across the floor. The walls were painted with warning signs from 50 years ago. But the worst came when the floor beneath Rian's foot creaked. He froze. The woman whispered, "Do not move." Rian slowly looked down. The thin metal plate was bending, screaming silently, ready to break. He exhaled slowly. Okay, we're going to do this carefully. He shifted his weight, but the plate snapped with a sharp crack, and the floor collapsed beneath him. He fell. The woman screamed. Dust exploded around them. Air whooshed past. And then, something caught his arm. He dangled in the darkness. A sharp metal beam cut into his sleeve, holding him just enough to stop the fall. The woman clung to him, trembling violently. Rian, she whispered. We will die here. No, Rian hissed. Not happening. He swung his free arm up, grabbed the beam, and pulled. His muscles burned. Sweat ran down his face. The metal groaned, but held. Slowly, painfully, he climbed up, carrying her with him. When they finally rolled onto solid ground, both were shaking. The woman looked at him, tears glittering in her eyes. You risk everything for me. Rian wiped dust from his face. Yeah, and I'll keep doing that until this is over. Before she could answer, they heard a new sound. A metallic clink, a faint beep, a red light blinking at the far end of the tunnel. The woman's eyes widened in horror. A tracker, she whispered. They placed a marker in this tunnel. They know we are here. Rian's jaw tightened. Then we moved faster. The blinking light turned brighter, the beeping louder, the tunnel shaking slightly. And far behind them, the Draken hunters' footsteps echoed again. Closer, hungrier. And this time, they were not alone. The beeping grew faster, louder, sharper, until it felt like the walls themselves were shaking from the sound. Rian held the alien woman close, feeling her weaken again in his arms. Her glow dimmed so much that the tunnel around them became almost pitch black. Her voice trembled in the dark. They marked this place. They will arrive soon. Rian breathed through his teeth. Yeah, I got that. He moved forward, one step at a time, feeling the floor before putting his weight down. Every plate here felt thin, unstable, dangerous. The woman's head rested against his shoulder. Her breath was cold against his neck. Too cold. Hey, he whispered softly. Stay awake. I'm trying, she whispered. They reached a fork in the tunnel, two paths splitting in opposite directions. One had a broken fan blowing warm air. The other was silent, colder, covered in dust and strange claw marks. Rian lifted his chin. Left or right? The woman shook her head weakly. I cannot sense anything now. You choose. Behind them, the trackers stopped beeping. And for a moment, there was total silence. Rian's heart jumped. That's not good. A deep metallic roar echoed from behind them. Then another roar. And another. The woman's body tensed in terror. They released the hunters. Hunters! Rianne whispered. I thought we were already dealing with hunters. No, her voice cracked. Those were soldiers. The hunters are worse. They smell fear, they follow light, they never stop. Rianne's pulse thundered in his ears. Okay. He needed to move. Now, he took the colder tunnel, the one with claw marks. At least the air was dry, and that meant it might lead upward, or outward, or anywhere but here. He turned left. The ground trembled. A distant screech, sharp, long, animal-like, ripped through the tunnel. The woman shivered so hard that Rianne felt her nails press into his shirt. They are coming. He tightened his grip on her and moved faster. The tunnel walls became thinner. The temperature dropped. The air felt old and stale. He heard something behind them. A dragging sound. Metal claws scraping. He didn't look back. Don't stop, he whispered to himself. Don't stop now. They turned a corner, and Rianne froze. The tunnel ahead was blocked again, but this time not by beams or debris. This time, there was a massive door. Locked. Rusted. Sealed shut. Rianne ran to it and slammed his shoulder against the metal. It didn't move. Come on. Open up. Open. The woman whispered, there should be a code panel. He found it beside the door, covered in dust. Screen cracked. Completely dead. He smashed the side of the panel, but sparks flew out and burned his hand. Damn, no power. The dragging sound behind them grew louder, closer, and now he could hear breathing. Heavy, animal-like, angry. The woman lifted her glowing hand weakly. I can give you a spark, a little light, but I cannot hold it long. Rianne stayed at the dead panel, then at her, then at the approaching darkness. Do it, he whispered. She placed her trembling fingers against the panel. A pale blue light moved from her hand into the wires. The panel flickered, then buzzed, then sparked violently. The woman screamed softly as her energy drained. Rianne held her arm to steady her. Just a second. Just hold it. The panel lit up. Numbers flashed. The door locks groaned. Behind them, a monstrous snarl echoed through the tunnel. Rianne's stomach turned. Faster! The woman tried to stay conscious, but her glow faded again. Her hand slipped. Her eyes rolled back. The panel died. The door stopped unlocking halfway. Rianne squeezed his eyes shut. Damn it! From the darkness behind them, two glowing red eyes appeared. Then a second pair. Then a third. The hunters. Tall, thin, armored in dark metal. Their jaws split open sideways, revealing sharp teeth dripping with green fluid. The woman whimpered. They found us. Rianne placed her gently against the door. His hands shook. His breast burned. Stay behind me. He picked up a long metal pipe from the floor. Not a weapon. Barely a stick. But it was something. The hunters stepped forward slowly, their claws tapping the floor in a slow, rhythmic pattern, tapping that grew faster as they approached. The closest hunter sniffed the air, then hissed. A long, hateful hiss. It lunged, and Rianne swung the pipe with all his strength. Metal hit metal. Sparks exploded. The hunter screeched and staggered back. Rianne didn't stop. He swung again, and again, and again. The pipe bent. His arms shook. His lungs burned. But he didn't stop. He stood between the woman and death itself. The second hunter growled and charged. Rianne ducked, barely missing razor claws that sliced the air above his head. He struck the floor panel as he fell, and the old wiring beneath flashed blue. The panel lit up, just a little. A spark shot across the wires. Up the wall, into the door panel. The door beeped. The woman opened her eyes weakly. It's working. Good, Rianne gasped. Because I'm out of ideas. Another hunter lunged. Rianne rolled, grabbed a broken cable, and shoved it into the creature's chest. Electricity burst out, stunning the creature for one precious second. The door clanked, shuddered, and slowly began to rise. Rianne grabbed the woman, lifted her, and sprinted under the rising metal. As soon as they passed through, the door slammed shut behind them, and the claws instantly smashed against the other side, shaking the entire frame. Rianne collapsed to his knees, holding the woman close as she breathed faintly against his chest. Rianne, She whispered. We survived again. He exhaled, relief and fear mixing in his chest. But when he looked up, his relief died instantly. The place they entered wasn't safe. It was a giant, abandoned chamber filled with old machines, broken cables, and a giant glowing pit in the center. The woman gasped weakly. This is wise. This is where the station kept the unstable cores. If one is still alive, it can explode. Rian stared at the humming pit, and then he noticed something moving inside the shadows around it. Not one thing. Not two. Many. He swallowed hard. You've got to be kidding me. They were not alone. Not even close. Rian held the alien woman tighter as the chamber lights flickered weakly, casting long, trembling shadows across the metal floor. The pit in the center hummed with a low, dangerous vibration, glowing a faint orange, like a dying sun waiting for one last breath. The woman whispered, her voice barely more than a thread of sound. Core chamber. Rian, we must be careful, very careful. Rian swallowed hard, breathing slowly as his eyes adjusted to the dim, pulsing light. The shadows around the pit weren't still. They moved with strange rhythm, like something was crawling in circles, circling them, watching. He whispered back, stay quiet. Don't move. The woman's glowing fingers curled weakly around his sleeve. They are not hunters, not soldiers. What are they? Rian whispered. Her eyes narrowed with fear. Failed workers, the cause took their minds. Now they wander without thought, without peace. Rian's throat tightened. Great. Mindless radioactive zombies. Wonderful. A soft metallic scrape echoed from the left. Then another from the right. Then three more, closing in. Rian turned slowly, gently lowering the woman to her feet, but keeping an arm around her to support her. The shapes in the shadows grew clearer, figures hunched over, their limbs wrong, their movements slow, but purposeful. Their eyes glowed faint blue, the same color as the woman's skin, but empty. Hello. Lost. She gasped softly. Lumari, but broken. Rian blinked. Wait, they're your people. She nodded painfully. Long ago, captured, forced to merge with failing cores. Now they are stuck, between life and death. The figures dragged their feet closer, one step at a time, their breath rattling like rusted machines. Rian whispered, they don't seem friendly. They are not, she replied. If they touch you, they will drain your life. Yeah, let's not let that happen. Rian scanned the room quickly. There was a broken bridge on the far side, leading to another hatch. But the fallen Lumari stood between him and the exit, moving slowly but forming a circle. He gripped the metal pipe tighter, though it was bent and nearly useless now. Okay, we sneak around them, slow, quiet. The woman nodded weakly. I will dim my light. They are drawn to it. Her glow faded until she looked almost human in the dark. Rian guided her step by step, moving like shadows themselves. But as they passed the pit, the ground beneath them vibrated. A deep rumble rolled through the chamber. The glowing core in the pit flared brighter, hotter, unstable. Rian hissed, oh come on. The sound hit them like a wave. A low, pulsing hum, and the Lumari zombies turned their empty eyes toward the core, then toward Rian and the woman, as if the unstable energy awakened something terrible inside them. Their dead hands clenched, their jaws opened wide, their slow steps turned fast. Rian, the woman whispered, we must run. No time. He scooped her into his arms again and sprinted toward the broken bridge. The first zombie lurched at him, its fingers brushing his sleeve. He yanked back just in time. The second swung its arm, metal scraping bone. Rian ducked, but the third came from the side. Rian twisted sharply and rammed his shoulder into it, knocking it off balance. It toppled sideways, fell into the glowing pit, and screamed a sound that didn't belong to any living creature. The chamber shook violently. Rian didn't wait. He reached the broken bridge. Half the walkway was missing, leaving a 3-meter gap over the pit. The woman's voice trembled. Rian, you cannot jump with me. Put me down. Leave me. He ignored that. We're not starting that again. Footsteps of the broken Lumeri grew louder behind them. He stepped to the edge. The gap stretched like a mouth waiting to swallow them. Sweat dripped down his neck. He felt the woman's breath weak against his chest. He whispered to her, "Hold on tight." She blinked weakly. "You will fall." "Then I'll fall trying." He ran. The floor behind him shook, a Lumeri creature grabbing at his heel, but missing by inches. Rian reached the edge and jumped. Air rushed around them. Time slowed. The pit below pulsed like a dying star. He landed on the far side, just barely, his feet slipping, fingers clawing at the edge. The woman cried out softly as they slid. Rian's hand found a bolt sticking out of the metal. He grabbed it and held on with everything he had. His muscles screamed. His ribs burned. The woman clung to him, her faint glow flickering in panic. He pulled, inch by inch, dragging their bodies up, until they finally rolled onto the platform. Rian lay on his back, gasping. Sweat covered his face. Dust scratched his throat. The woman placed a weak hand on his chest. "Thank you," she whispered. "You keep risking everything." He let out a shaky laugh. "Can't stop now." But before he could sit up, the floor under them made a deep cracking sound. Rian froze. "No." The metal split, splitting like old wood. The platform tilted downward. The woman's eyes widened in horror. "The core, it is going to rupture. This whole chamber will explode." "Well, that's fantastic," Rian muttered. He grabbed her and ran for the hatch. The platform snapped behind them, falling into the pit in a thunder of metal screams. They reached the hatch. Rian slammed the emergency wheel. It turned slowly, painfully, the old metal grinding. The core behind them roared, brightening with every second. The wheel finally clicked. Rian pulled the hatch open, but he stopped dead. Standing in the doorway, blocking the exit, were two Draken soldiers. Their red armor glowed. Their jaws clicked open, their weapons aimed straight at Rian's chest. The woman shivered and whispered, "They tracked my light. They found us." Rian stepped back, holding her protectively. The Draken leader tilted his head, eyes cold and hungry. "Human, hand over the Lumeri." Rian's heart pounded. He tightened his grip around the woman. "No." The chamber shook again behind them. The core screamed. The broken Lumeri clawed their way toward the bridge. The Draken soldiers raised their weapons. The woman's breath trembled in fear, and Rian stood with nothing but a bent pipe between her and three different kinds of death. As the entire room began to tear itself apart, the chamber trembled like a dying beast. The unstable core behind Rian pulsed brighter, louder, shaking dust from the ceiling. And in front of him, the two Draken soldiers stood still as statues, their glowing red visors aimed at his heart. The woman clung to Rian's shirt, her glow faint as a candle about to die. The Draken leader stepped forward slowly. "Human, you cannot win. You will bane with her." Rian's jaw clenched. "Then I burn." The soldier tilted his head, confused at the stupidity, or courage, or both. The second Draken aimed his weapon. The woman whispered into Rian's ear, her voice trembling. "They will shoot. Rian, please run." He didn't move. Behind him, the broken Lumeri crawled over the broken bridge, their empty eyes staring, their bodies twitching, drawn by the core, and the glow of the woman in his arms. The chamber was collapsing into chaos, and Rian stood in the middle of it all, cornered from both sides. The Draken leader raised his weapon. The woman gasped and grabbed Rian's hand. "I must try something. Hold me." Rian tightened his grip around her waist. "Do it." She closed her eyes. Her glowing veins flickered like lightning under her skin, and a soft blue light shined from her palms. But instead of growing bright, the light sputtered, dimmed, and nearly vanished. She let out a pained cry. I cannot. I am too weak." Rian whispered, "It's okay." "It is not okay," she said. "I cannot protect you." He shook his head sharply. "Then I'll protect us both." The Draken soldiers stepped closer. Rian lifted the bent metal pipe, forcing his shaking hands steady. "Come on then, let's dance." The Draken leader snarled and fired. Rian rolled sideways. The bolt of plasma hit the floor where he stood a heartbeat earlier, exploding into a spray of molten sparks. He charged forward. The Draken soldier swung the butt of his rifle. Rian ducked and slammed the pipe into the alien's knee joint with all his strength. A horrible crack echoed. The soldier roared and stumbled. But the second Draken swung a clawed fist at Rian's back. Rian twisted, barely. The claws sliced across his shoulder, tearing through his jacket, burning his skin. He winced, pain shooting down his arm. The woman screamed, "Rian!" He forced a breath through clenched teeth. Still alive. The Draken leader raised his rifle again, but the chamber behind them roared like a volcano. The unstable core flared violently, sending a wave of heat through the room. The broken Lumari let out empty, haunting cries as they reached the edge of the pit, their bodies glowing faint blue. The Draken leader laughed. "The Lumari core is close to rupture. All of you will die." Rian spat blood and glared at him. "Not today." He slammed his foot into a loose cable on the floor, one end still connected to a dying power conduit. Sparks jolted through the cable. Rian kicked it toward the Draken soldier's wet armor plate. Electricity exploded across its body. The soldier convulsed, screaming in a metallic voice before collapsing to one knee. Rian didn't hesitate. He took the bent pipe and smashed it across the soldier's face visor. The visor cracked. A second hit shattered it. The Draken fell backward, unconscious. Rian turned, but the leader was already raising his gun to shoot the woman. Rian lunged. "No, you don't." He slammed into the Draken leader just as the rifle fired. The plasma shot grazed Rian's side, searing his skin in a white-hot line. He gasped in pain but didn't fall. He grabbed the alien by the throat and smashed his head against the metal wall once. Twice. 3 times. The Draken roared and pushed back with incredible strength, lifting Rian off the ground and hurling him across the chamber. Rian hit the floor hard, sliding until he crashed into a pile of metal debris. His vision blurred. His ears rang. The woman crawled toward him, shaking uncontrollably. "Rian! Rian, please! Get up! Please!" He forced one eye open. "I'm not done." The Draken leader stepped toward him, claws raised. "You are stubborn, human." Rian spat blood and pushed himself up using a broken beam. "Yeah, it's what we do." The Draken raised both claws for the killing blow, but the ground beneath them shook violently as the core reached critical heat. A deep warning klaxon echoed through the station. "Core failure. Full rupture in 90 seconds. Evacuate immediately." Everything trembled. Dust fell from the ceiling. The broken Lumari shrieked in pain, drawn closer to the exploding pit. The Draken looked back at the core in panic. "No, not now." He turned to escape, but Rian grabbed his ankle, yanking him down. The Draken stumbled, and Rian, fueled by pain and adrenaline, lunged onto the alien's back and wrapped the broken cable around the Draken's neck. Electricity surged again. The Draken spasmed, roared, and collapsed, smoke rising from its armor. Rian dropped the cable and fell to his knees, breathing like fire. He crawled back to the alien woman and helped her up. She trembled. "Rian, the core? We will die." He held her close. "Not if I can help it." They limped toward the exit hatch behind the fallen soldiers. But as Rian reached it and pulled the lever, he stopped. A soft, cold voice echoed from behind them. From the pit, where the broken Lumari stood. Not moving now, but watching. The woman's eyes widened, terrified. "No, no. They are calling the core. They will trigger the final blast." The broken Lumari raised their hands toward the pit, blue light glowing from their hollow palms. The core screamed like a star exploding. Rian grabbed the woman and pulled her through the hatch. Just as a vortex of blue flame erupted inside the chamber, he slammed the hatch shut, and the metal behind them glowed red with heat. The entire hallway shook. Rian held the woman tightly as she cried into his chest. He whispered softly, "We're alive. We're still alive." But then, heavy footsteps echoed from the far end of the hallway. Rian froze. The woman froze. The sound grew louder, and a massive Draken war captain stepped out of the shadows, twice the size of the others, armor burning with red light. His voice was like broken iron. "Human, you have taken what is mine." Rian's grip tightened on the woman. The war captain raised a huge energy blade. "Now I take your life." The hallway trembled around them, and the true battle was only beginning. Rian stood still, every muscle locked, every breath shaking. The hallway lights flickered weakly as the massive Draken war captain stepped forward, each movement a heavy metallic thud that echoed like thunder. His armor wasn't like the others. It moved, breathed, humming with molten red veins that crawled across the plates like living fire. The alien woman clung to Rian's shirt, her voice small and trembling. "That is a war captain. They are born in battle, shaped by blood. Rian, we cannot fight him." Rian whispered without taking his eyes off the giant. "Yeah, I figured." The war captain lowered his face until the red visor glowed inches from Rian's eyes. "Human, you protected the Lumari. You killed my soldiers. You survived the pit. Impressive." Rian swallowed. "But your life ends now." The captain raised his massive energy blade, the crackling red edge lighting the hallway in fiery red. Rian stepped back slowly, pulling the woman with him. He whispered, "We run on 3. Rian, he is too fast." "I know." The war captain's claws clicked loudly, like metal teeth hungry for blood. Rian whispered again. 1. The captain tightened his grip. 2. The lights flickered. The blade hummed. The air vibrated. 3. Run. Rian spun and sprinted down the hallway, dragging the woman with him. The war captain roared and charged after them like a demon set loose. His footsteps slammed into the metal floor, each one closer, louder, heavier. Rian's lungs burned, his wounded side stung like fire, but he didn't stop. The woman gasped, stumbling in his arms. Her glow dimmed more with each step. "Rian, I'm slowing you down. Not letting you go." They reached a sharp corner. Rian turned, and a huge blade slashed the wall where he stood a heartbeat ago. Sparks exploded. Shards flew. The war captain roared in frustration. Rian kept running. They reached a tall ladder leading upward into darkness. A broken emergency sign flickered beside it. "Maintenance elevation shaft. Do not enter." Rian muttered, "Perfect." He shoved the woman upward. "Climb." She tried, but her arms shook too much. "I cannot." Rian grabbed her waist and pushed her upward, climbing with one arm while holding her with the other. Pain ripped across his ribs. His fingers slipped on the cold rungs. "Rian, please, leave me." "Not happening." Below them, the war captain looked up, his visor pulsing, his rage shaking the metal. He leaped upward and grabbed the ladder with one massive hand. The metal bent under the force. Rian's heart froze. "Oh, you've got to be kidding. Climb." The woman tried again, tears running from her glowing eyes. "I cannot. Rian, I cannot." "Yes, you can, because I need you alive." Those words hit her harder than any explosion. She forced herself upward, pulling her weak body rung by rung. The war captain roared and began climbing too, far faster than any creature that size should move. Rian climbed faster, but the ladder was old, rusted, and his blood was dripping from his wounded side, making the metal slippery. He looked up, a hatch above them, just a bit further. "We're almost there." The woman reached it first. She pushed the wheel, but it didn't move. She cried out, "It is stuck. Rian, it is stuck. Keep trying." The war captain grabbed Rian's ankle. Rian kicked wildly. The captain's claws sliced into his boot. Pain shot up his leg. The woman sobbed, her fingers shaking on the wheel. "It won't open." Rian, desperate, reached up with one hand while clinging to the ladder with the other. He pressed his palm over hers. "Together, push." She looked at him with trembling eyes. They pressed. The wheel moved 1 inch. The war captain roared below them. They pushed again. The wheel creaked, bent, then spun fully. The hatch unlocked. Rian shoved the woman through the opening. "Go." She pulled at him. "Rian, come. Now." He climbed the last rung. The war captain grabbed his leg again and yanked. Rian slipped. His hand missed the rung. His body dropped. And no, the woman screamed. Rian caught the hatch lip with his fingertips. The war captain pulled harder, trying to tear him down. Rian felt his grip slipping, the skin on his fingers tearing, the pain unbearable. The woman leaned out dangerously, glowing faint but determined. She grabbed Rian's wrist with both hands. Rian, hold, please hold. I'm trying. The war captain growled deeply and pulled again. Rian's shoulder felt like it ripped in half. His vision blurred. The woman cried out, Rian, I won't let you go. I won't. Her glow suddenly pulsed. A soft blue spark. Then another. Her hands shined bright. Brighter. Hotter. As if she was pouring the last of her life into strength. She pulled him upward with a force she shouldn't have. Rian lunged upward. The war captain's claws scraped across the hatch edge. Rian pulled himself through. The woman slammed the hatch down, locking the wheel. The war captain smashed the metal from below. The hatch bent inward, but held. The metallic echo of fury filled the shaft. Rian lay on the floor, gasping, bleeding, trembling. The woman collapsed beside him, her glow dangerously faint. Rian turned his head. You saved me. She smiled weakly, tears in her eyes. You saved me first. He tried to smile back, but the pain was too much. She touched his face with glowing fingers. Rian, you are hurt. He nodded slowly. Yeah, feeling it. She looked around at the new chamber they entered. Dark, silent, filled with old solar panels and cracked energy cells. Then she froze. She pointed with shaky fingers. Rian, look. At the far end of the chamber, half buried under collapsed metal, was a small, old human shuttle. Dust-covered, rusty, but intact. Rian blinked. Holy, that's a service shuttle. I can fix that. She stayed in disbelief. You can fix a broken ship. Rian pushed himself to sit, coughing. Lady, I can fix a broken planet if you give me enough duct tape. She laughed weakly, a soft, fragile sound. But their moment didn't last. The hatch behind them buckled again, metal twisting, screws popping, the war captain roaring in fury. The woman whispered, terrified, he is breaking through. Rian forced himself up and limped toward the shuttle. Then I better get this flying in 5 minutes. The woman stayed at him, shocked. Rian, that is impossible. He smiled, blood dripping down his chin. Yeah, but I'm human. She touched his hand, her glow lighting his fingers. Then I believe you. Rian opened the shuttle hatch. Dust flew out like ghosts escaping. He climbed inside and froze. The cockpit flickered to life. But not alone. A message was glowing on the cracked screen. Automatic distress beacon triggered. Draxon flagship en route. ETA, 4 o'clock minutes. Rian whispered, pale. They're sending the big one. The woman's breath caught. Rian, if the flagship arrives, we are dead. Behind them, the hatch shook violently. Cracks appeared. Light leaked through. And the war captain roared again. Time was gone. Rian clenched his jaw. Then let's fly before we die. He grabbed the tools. And the race against death began. Rian's hands moved fast, faster than his mind could even follow. Wires sparked. Panels buzzed. Old systems flickered like dying stars. The woman knelt beside him, her glow faint but steady now, steady only because she forced herself to stay awake. Her voice trembled softly. Rian, the hatch, it is almost breaking. Rian didn't look back. Yeah, I hear him. Big guy's not patient. A massive impact slammed into the hatch. Dust rained from the ceiling. Metal screws shot across the floor. The woman flinched and grabbed Rian's arm. He will be inside soon. And the flagship, it is almost here. Rian pulled out a burned fuse and tossed it aside. Good thing I work fast. Her glowing eyes watched him, full of fear, and something else now. Something quiet, deep, fragile. She whispered, why do you fight so hard for me? He didn't stop working, because you deserve to live. But I am not human. Doesn't matter. And I am hunted. Still doesn't matter. and I brought death to your station. Yeah, Rianne said, tightening a bolt, but you also brought purpose. She blinked in surprise, her glow warming for a moment. But the moment was short. The hatch behind them bent inward. A giant red claw burst through, tearing the metal like soft cloth. The war captain roared with inhuman rage. The woman gasped, backing away. Rianne, he is inside. Not yet, Rianne muttered. He grabbed a thick cable and jammed it into the shuttle's side port. The entire ship shook, lights flickering in confused panic. Then a voice spoke from the cracked speaker. Power at 12%. Warning, system unstable. Rianne shouted, Come on, baby, wake up. He slammed his fist against the console. The lights flickered again. Then, a soft, struggling hum filled the cockpit. The woman's eyes widened. You did it. No, Rianne said, ripping open the floor panel. I'm doing it. Not done yet. The war captain tore another piece of the hatch. A long, burning red arm reached through, claws opening like blades. The woman screamed, Rianne. He spun around, grabbed a loose energy rod, and jammed it across the hatch frame. The end of the rod touched a live cable. Electricity blasted into the war captain's arm. He roared, pulling back violently. Rianne yelled, Buy me 30 seconds. She nodded, glowing again. Just faint, but enough to create distractions. She raised her hands and released tiny pulses of blue light that danced across the ceiling. The war captain growled. The light annoyed him, drawing his eyes away from the hatch. Rianne returned to the cockpit and plugged in the final cable. The ship trembled, shook, then let out a single strong beep. Power at 41%. Flight system online. Rianne exhaled. Good enough. He ran to the woman, grabbed her hand, and pulled her into the shuttle. Inside, now. She climbed in fast, her breath shaking. But before Rianne could step in, the war captain smashed the entire hatch open with one final blow. Metal exploded outward. Dust blew across the room like a storm. The captain stepped through the hole. Massive, glowing, unstoppable. He roared in triumph. The woman screamed Rianne's name. Rianne turned. The captain lunged, and Rianne dove into the ship, slamming the hatch shut behind him. A giant claw scraped across the exterior. Metal dented inward. The woman cried, He is breaking the ship. Strap in. Rianne shouted. He jumped into the pilot's seat. Sparks flew from the control panel. The engines roared like angry beasts. The shuttle vibrated so violently it felt like it was going to tear apart. The war captain hit the hull again, and the entire ship moved sideways. The woman grabbed the seat, glowing in panic. Rianne, fly, FLY. Rianne slammed his hand on the ignition. The shuttle screamed, shook, then blasted upward through the maintenance shaft. Behind them, the war captain grabbed the bottom of the shuttle with both hands. Rianne's eyes widened. You have got to be kidding. The captain snarled, climbing up the ship like a monster refusing to die. The engines roared harder. Rianne, the woman whispered, shaking, He will pull us down. Not if I burn his fingers off. Rianne redirected the engine heat downward. A blast of fire filled the shaft. The captain roared in fury and pain. His hands melting, his armor burning. He slipped. He fell back into the chamber below. The woman covered her mouth in shock. Did you kill him? Rianne shook his head. Probably not. He's too angry to die. The shuttle burst through a ceiling hatch and shot into space. But the relief died instantly. A massive shadow covered the stars. A warship, huge, black, glowing red, like a floating fortress of death. The woman's voice trembled into silence. The flagship. Rianne stared at the ship's size, thousands of meters long, covered in weapons. Oh damn, he whispered. The flagship turned. Its cannons glowed. Rianne's heart pounded. They are charging the array. Rianne, she whispered softly, this is where we die. No, he said. He gripped the controls. We're not dying today. The flagship fired. A beam of red death cut through space, burning toward them. Fast. Unstoppable. The woman screamed, covering her head. Rianne pulled the shuttle sideways. The beam missed by inches. He spun the ship, weaving through debris and asteroids. But the flagship adjusted. Another beam fired. Then another. The woman cried out, "Rian! They are locking on." "I know. Don't yell." Explosions lit up space around them. Alarm screamed. Hull at 37%. Impact imminent. Rian bit down hard. Come on, come on." The woman grabbed his arm. "Rian, let me help. Let me use my light." "No," he yelled. "You'll kill yourself." She shook her head. "Then we die anyway." He froze, her eyes full of fear, but also courage. "Let me save you, like you saved me." Rian whispered, "No, don't." But she already placed her glowing hands on the ship's energy core. Her glow brightened. Brighter, blinding. The shuttle's power surged instantly. Engines roared like living fire. The ship shot forward, so fast the flagship couldn't track it. The woman screamed softly, energy ripping through her body, but she didn't let go. Rian shouted, "Stop! You'll burn yourself." She smiled weakly. "You saved my life many times. Now I pay my debt." The shuttle jumped into the asteroid field at impossible speed. The flagship lost tracking. Explosions echoed behind them as debris smashed into the giant ship. Rian grabbed her shoulders. "Stop! Please, stop!" She finally let go and collapsed into his arms, glowing faint as dying starlight. He held her close, shaking. "Stay with me, stay with me," she whispered, eyes fluttering. "Rian, you kept your promise. You did not leave me." He held her tighter, tears burning his eyes. "And I never will." The shuttle drifted deeper into safe space, engines cooling. The flagship remained behind, damaged, confused, unable to follow. The woman rested her head on Rian's chest, barely breathing. "I am alive, because of you." Rian brushed her hair gently. "No, we're alive, because of us." She smiled faintly, her glow soft, peaceful, and whispered the same words she said the first time he saw her. But this time, with the real meaning. "Take off your armor. Let me heal you. That is how my kind pays their debt." Rian laughed softly, emotional, exhausted. "Yeah, you can heal me all you want." She pressed her glowing hands to his wounds, and warmth spread through him. Peaceful, gentle, like a star singing quietly inside his chest. The shuttle drifted into the dark, endless sky. Two souls, broken, saved, bound by fire and light. And their story, their bond, had only just begun.